At this point, as we head into the overnight session and tomorrow, as I mentioned in this morning's video, 51.17 to 27 is a key area of resistance. So the idea we discussed on Friday was that ES got oversold, overextended into some larger time frame support where there was now a higher probability of larger time frame buyers stepping back in. I think now we are approaching much better resistance on the short-term time frame where we could see larger time frame sellers starting to step back in. And I think there's going to be a bit of a battle here between buyers and sellers. I know that the last couple of days have been pretty bullish, and the ease of price movement to the upside, it has been very clear and obvious. But don't expect or just blindly expect that theme to continue. We've had a nice bounce over the last couple of days, but now ES is approaching some significantly better resistance where sellers could be active and larger time frame or short-term time frame sellers could start to step in here. We know that in bearish environments, breakouts have a tendency to fail. So even if we do take out 23/4, there is a risk now of that becoming a false or failed breakout attempt. So now I think we should be much more cautious on the long side and perhaps start looking for shorting opportunities, because I think that it could be more difficult for the market to head higher at this point in time, especially given that we still have important earnings later in the week, right? I think we have IBM and Facebook reporting earnings after the close tomorrow, and then we have Microsoft and Google and Intel reporting earnings after the close on Thursday. So given the earnings calendar and considering that these are mega caps that are now going to be reporting earnings, and given that we have several econ reports out Thursday morning, I think that it's going to be more difficult for buyers to push the market up, and any breakout attempt above the 51.17 to 27 resistance is going to be more prone to failure. It doesn't mean that we are predicting a failure, but we have a very simple and general principle that in bearish environments, breakouts have a tendency to fail. And this is a short-term balance area high, and the 51.17 coincides with the 61.8% retracement of this dominant swing. So it's a very good spot for short-term buyers to consider taking profit, and for anyone who is bearish on the larger time frame to step back in or begin stepping back in to the market. So again, we just don't want to fall prey to recency bias. It's okay, we had a couple of good days on the upside, but it doesn't mean that we should now automatically expect that to continue. I think that some of this recent buying is very likely to be driven by short covering, and again, just don't assume that it's going to continue. Now, if tomorrow opens and we get a breakout above 51.23/4 on very similar market internals as we saw today, then fine. Then we'll assume that it can be a successful breakout. But if the market tries breaking out above 51.17 to 27, and specifically above 51.23/4, and there is a lack of upside momentum, there is a absence of initiative buying, then we have to remind ourselves of the principle that in bearish environments, breakouts have a tendency to fail, and that can then result in a false or failed breakout attempt and a move back down into the 5100 high volume node and possibly even lower. So that is going to be the context as we head into tomorrow. And then on the downside, we can use the 5091 to 5101 roughly as support. That's a spot where buyers can be active. And if we get a breakdown below 5091 to 5101, that will be the first notable sign of intraday weakness and sellers stepping in, and that can then result in a move back down into the 70 to 79 area and possibly even lower. So as we head into tomorrow, our short-term bias will continue to be neutral. So those are the main ideas as we head into the overnight session and tomorrow. Let me see if there are any questions that we can cover, and then we will wrap up.